Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, September 3rd. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on Monday for Labor Day. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And second, this will be the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represent 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol BNRG. Pretty eventful day today, and now it's really just a matter of perspective, so kind of tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint, because like I said, it's all about the point of view, meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks really, really bad. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, sure, there was this big pullback, but now this pullback is still within an overall context, bullish context, I should say, because you had that gap up, and then even after the gap up, you had that big move right there. And in fact, in doing so, I've essentially just drawn the bull flag pattern here. But now the price is starting to approach some interesting levels that, of course, guarantee nothing because there are no guarantees, but make certain thoughts plausible. And the one thought is, I think this thing could bounce down around that $1.35 mark. I totally understand. Again, does not mean that it's going to occur, but there is a history of there's a buyer stepping in and then providing a bounce. So again, does that mean if it comes down here, it'll for sure go right back up to those highs like last time? Of course not, but it's just a matter of plausibility. That's a more than reasonable thought to have. So at the end of the day, if you like this price range, if you like to buy pullbacks and want to buy them at former areas of support, this is certainly one that's got a lot of volume, a lot of volatility, and worth keeping an eye on next week. Next one here, FCUV, and pretty much the exact same thing of what I just talked about. So I'm going to go through this one a lot quicker as I want to honor your time the best that I can. But right here, gap up, nice move afterwards, pullback has occurred, and now the price is sitting around some very interesting levels of potential support, namely that area right down here at the 27 cent mark. So as I've said, no guarantees that it comes down here and bounces, but you do have the track record right there of buyers stepping in. And a nice bounce right here. I'd say the biggest difference here is this one just happens to be a penny stock. So if you like these sorts of circumstances, but you like to prefer and to play down in the world of penny stocks, here you go, FCUV. Next one here, ATPC, and I really like the pattern here that is formed on this one. So let me get this pattern drawn into play here. So we have the resistance portion of the pattern right here. We have the support portion right there, and just because let's make sure these are a little bit more proportional. There we go. Let me change this to green to represent support. There we go. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the explosive move right there. For you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual for you. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, certainly more than plausible to think that if the price can come up here and get a break up through the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TOVX. Interesting scenario here. Had the big move up, price came all the way up here, had a very nasty pullback, but the pullback has leveled out. And not only has it leveled out, it's starting to creep back upwards. And now it's just a question of, can this momentum kick back in? And in my opinion, at least, there's a very well-defined resistance level here that you can use to help answer that question, that being right here at $6.18. You can see right there it acted as resistance, and then late day today, once again, acted as resistance. So just to reiterate, and I'll probably say a dozen more times, there are no guarantees, but certainly plausible to think that the price can come up here and finally break through that level, that break in and of itself could bring in the breakout players. You can call it a self-fulfilling prophecy if you want, where people buy just because, well, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, look, that's breaking out. Oh, I'm supposed to buy, and people just buy. So, yes, self-fulfilling prophecies definitely exist, and that would be one of those areas where, I could see something like that happen. So keep an eye on that. If this thing, if you like to play these scenarios where, stocks potentially curl back upwards, as far as areas of support are concerned, I like that trend line right there if you like to play more so pullback, so keep an eye on that. But all things considered, definitely a very interesting setup headed into next week. Next one here, NVDA, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, as the key area of resistance. And I just say that and bring it up because you can see right here, price bounced and found some support right at that level, or excuse me, not support, found resistance right at that level before getting rejected back down. So while I'm not saying that that level can never be broken and it's impossible, all I'm saying is that if there is going to be any sort of bigger movement to the upside, then that level right there, is going to be the main one that needs to be broken. So keep an eye on that level. Currently valued over here at 122.50. So as far as support, so if this thing decides to break back down, nothing new here to report. Still the same level that I talked about previously, down here at the 116 mark. And I would you could make the argument, well, I think there's a support right there if I put a trend line. Fully agree with that, 100%. But I just don't want to create confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere. So trying to keep this as clean as possible. But again, if you want to draw on a line like that, totally see where you're coming from. But if there is a breakdown of that trend line, then I would say that the more important area of support right there at 116. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area there on the page you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol TSLA Tesla, and definitely a good solid day here. Again, might mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but if you did, put in that resistance trend line right there. And this is a good example of some of those other charts that I talked about already, about how those breaks can really get good solid momentum. And right here you can see got the break and then has had a very, very solid afternoon. So definitely a nice looking chart here as we head into next week for Tesla. Go ahead and get rid of that. And even also, now that I see it from a resistance standpoint, this area of resistance too, as I speak, is being broken. So I mean, definitely very, very solid action here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this next key battleground right up to that $214 mark. That's right here, this previous congestion point where things got rejected back down. But certainly the price is well within striking distance of 214. So keep an eye on that as that main area of resistance. In terms of levels of support, if there are any sorts of pullbacks, ideally speaking, in terms of what would make the chart look the strongest and healthiest, definitely if the price can stay above that purple line right there at 209. If the price does not hold above it, not the end of the world, but I would definitely consider a way more important level of support down there at 205.75, which I admit right now, pretty irrelevant given the price is way up there, but nonetheless wanted to mention those couple areas. But all in all, definitely a great way to end the week here for Tesla. Next one, INTC, as this one has had quite the headlines and volume and everything, but I had some more news out today. The market apparently liked what it saw. And now what I'm very curious about, and always an exciting question to ask, let me get this drawn in a play. But we have this resistance trend line right here. And again, this is why I like to do these when the market's still open. But as I speak, the price is doing battle and trying to push up through that level, which brings about always a very exciting question. Is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile is even happening. But in this situation, something worthwhile is happening. The price is breaking through that trend line. To be fair and realistic, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. But again, to be fair, that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is the start of something much bigger, and this thing picks up just that much more momentum next week. So if you like these situations where something is starting to break out and you can sit there and maybe play continuation, find some momentum to pick up, then certainly keep an eye on INTC. Next one, LUNR, and yeah, this one's a pretty ugly looking chart right now, but for you long-time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, but big gap up here. Pulled back, acted like maybe, just maybe, this was some sort of consolidation, but you can see late afternoon here, the price has now opened up the floodgates again, and down the price falls. But with all that being said, the price is now still starting to approach some very interesting levels that could produce some bounces, namely right here at that level of $4.82. You can see that this was a former area of support back here. As I've said already, does that mean if the price comes down here, it'll for sure be an area of support again? Absolutely not, but there is some plausibility, behind that thought process. If you want to be and just require the chart to get even more ugly, another potential area to keep an eye on down there at that pink line. Of course, the risk there is that maybe the price comes down there and never gets down that far and then bounces, and then you'd be saying, well, I should have just bought at that level right there. But welcome to the life of trading. But point here being is if you do like to try to take advantage of these quote-unquote ugly situations, then you have a couple of choices there where this thing could very realistically bounce. Next one, NIO, very, very solid day today. Well, again, that's all about perspective. If you're a day trader and you bought on the gap up, you're probably not feeling like this one was that solid. I'm just making that comment based on the fact that not that long ago, this thing was sitting down here, and then it worked its way up there on Thursday, and all of a sudden it's working its way up here. And not to insult your intelligence, but you notice that each one of these circles has gotten higher and higher than the previous ones, and that's the name of the game. From a bigger picture point of view, you just want to see those lows continue to get higher and higher. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. And first key update is just based on a foundational rule and chart in which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. But I'm actually going to adjust this level up and now call this the ideal level. I mean, hey Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best going forward? Definitely if the price stayed above 402. Now, if it doesn't, that doesn't mean the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that, because again, you have actually both these key moving averages essentially right at the same value. Purple line 50 period moving average, pink line 200 period moving average. Now, if the price goes down there and drops below there, that's where things start to get sketchy, because the further the price drops below there, the more and more the price is going, quote unquote, back to where it was. And assuming you're bullish, you don't want to see price movements make great moves and then go back to where it was. Not a sign of bullishness at all. In terms of, what's that going on here all of a sudden? But in terms of levels of resistance, very tight range was formed this afternoon. So key level of resistance right there at $4.10. Wow. Market still got 4 minutes open. So kind of a nasty close here. But yeah, we'll see if that's a leading indicator of more bearishness to come next week or not. But overall, that's the current status of things. Next one, TQQQ. Very, very impressive day today. Started off rough, no doubt about it. Acted like it wanted to be strong, got up here, and then just totally plunged. But to be fair, has totally reversed itself and is now actually knocking on the doors of potentially breaking up through that level of the highs of today, right there at 68.85. So 68.85 will be that initial. Actually, no, I'm just going to make it because again, I don't want to have lines everywhere. But yeah, keep in mind as if you want to throw on your chart a level right there, that's fine. But really, the main level of resistance, the key battleground point, is right up here at 69.50. Just going through the history of the chart, you can see rejected the price, didn't hit it exactly, but a whole bunch of times got around that general area and rejected the price. So that's not to say that level can't be broken, but it is to say that if the price is going to push through it, according to the story here that's being told to us via the chart, the bulls really better bring their A game. But no doubt about it, beautiful recovery from these lows. Very, very impressive final 30 minutes. Nice to see the volume coming in. So we'll see if that momentum carries into next week. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but again, for you stock traders out there, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for this free live class next week. It'll be Thursday, September 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, so no longer 30-minute, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours. And I like to do this time frame because given Bitcoin is open 24/7, that'll allow this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. But if you've watched past videos, and this will mean way more to you, but I've been talking about 57,700 over and over again, and not to pat myself on the back, but to pat charts on the back. What a beautiful bounce right off that level. Now maybe you're saying, whatever, you just put that line in there before you started to talk about it. I understand your skepticism. Good news is you can just go back in the video archive and you can look and see that that video has been there, or excuse me, that line's been there in the past videos. But again, not to brag about myself, but definitely to brag about charts. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Go get signed up for the free class. But that goes with the first question. And let's say you're watching this Sunday afternoon at some point. Question number one, where is the price at relative to 57,700? If you are answering the question that the price is above there, then okay, the chart's hanging in there. It's hanging in there. Doesn't mean it's necessarily looking great, but at least it's hanging in there, and that's really the goal. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below 57,000. What in the world? There we go. Sorry about that. But if you're saying the price is down below that level, then the next key question you need to ask yourself is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to 56,100? If some way you're answering the question that the price is down below that level, that's just telling you that Bitcoin is having a very, very bad weekend, well, assuming you're bullish. If you're bearish, for you, it would be a very good weekend, but that would not be a good scenario at all. And yeah, I mean, it's fighting. 57,700, it's putting up a great fight, but it's also now becoming to a point where, if the price falls below there, I could see that creating enough downwards fear and momentum that brings it at least down to that level, if not even further below there. But like I said, so far so good. It is holding above there. Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is above 57,700, like I said, bare minimum, things are hanging in there. But some common sense will go a long way too. If you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is way up here, or the price is way up here, well, that's telling you that Yeah, not only is it above 57,700, it has bounced in a very, very nice way, and that would just be telling you Bitcoin is doing very, very well. But it all circles back to that level right there. Can the price bare minimum maintain above 57,700 over Labor Day weekend? We'll see what happens. As I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for this free live class, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So definitely go get signed up. Like I said earlier, it'll be later or next week, Thursday, September 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there, and definitely bring your questions and answers, because it is genuinely live. So there's a question and answer session, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, as always, if you enjoy, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and have a great Labor Day weekend.